What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. My name is Derek. This is The Angle. So, what can you expect from The Angle? So, here on The Angle, we'll be having controversial, mentally stimulating type conversations. That's kind of the bulk of what we're going to be doing here. But we'll also be focused on a lighter side of things as well. So, I'll have segments of motivation, positivity, push mentality type thing. As well as if you are someone in need of some type of advice, and by that I mean like family advice, career advice, life advice, relationship advice, things of that nature. If you want to reach out to me, or if you feel like there's something that you might want to talk about, or you want me to talk about that's not within the rhetoric, something along those lines, send me an email. Feel free to comment as well, but try to find a way just to get in touch with me. And I'll be making it my mission to respond and get back to you within a timely manner and cater and answer whatever it is that you feel like needs to be discussed or talked about. We'll also be, hitting on the hot topics, of course. We'll be focusing on real world events, getting my personal take, my view, as well as some of my guests who I'll be bringing onto the show and having in and out. That'll be guest featuring and things of that nature. And we'll also be talking about some things that I just personally feel like needs to get discussed and people need to hear, or that's my personal view on that type of thing. So, with that being said, guys, that's my little quick intro. If you feel good about this, if you want to follow what I got going on, if you like what you're seeing or what you're hearing so far, like, subscribe, hit that bell, and follow me, follow the journey, grow with me. Let's get this thing rocking.
Scene 13, take 5, and action.
All right, guys. So on today's episode, our segment of the day is controversy, and the topic of the day is the necessity of college. So, I think at this point, a lot of us have come to a realization, and by a lot of us, I'm speaking primarily to Gen Z, millennial, that age range. This can vary for some other people as well in some different brackets, but I know specifically us, we've come to a realization that maybe college wasn't the right choice for me at the time that I went, right? Um, and a lot of that comes from the fact that we go, excuse me, we go straight out of high school a lot of the time. Not every single time, it's not 100%, but a lot of the time the focus is we go straight into college right after high school. And the narrative is you're supposed to know what you want to do, be ready, or go to college to find out what you want to do. And that sounds great in theory, but you have to realize you got these 18, 19, sometimes 17-year-old kids, young adults that are still having that mental development going on in the frontal lobe of the brain. That's a fact. That's a scientific fact that it's not fully developed yet at that age. And you're expecting us to go do these things and be ready, or get ready in that process. And it's crazy. We get there and now we're majoring and interested in all these things that we're interested in at the time. You get what I'm saying? At that time, it's so different once you just get a little bit older. All right. And I'm not saying that we're old or whatever. I'm not old. I don't feel like old is 30 or 25 or whatever. You're as young as you want to be as long as you take care of your body and you're living life properly, doing those types of things. That's a different conversation. But you get a little older, you get a little bit of life experience behind your belt or under your belt, and you realize like there's a lot of different things in life that I found out that I'm truly interested in. And what I was interested in back then is just not the same now. Like things have changed. I have new mindsets. I've experienced some things to where whatever it was that I thought I was going to be successful in back then, that's not the move for me. And we get caught into that trap. We get caught into the narrative that they told us growing up, right? Our parents, our elders, people around us, school teachers and counselors, people that would come to the school to give pep talks and speeches sometimes, right? They will come and tell us to be getting ready. Hey, you're a senior in high school, you should know what you want to do. You're a junior in high school, you should know what you want to do. You're a freshman in college. Hey, if you don't know what you want to do right now, that's fine. You're gonna figure it out. And the whole time, because it's been beat into our minds, via TV, social media, the news, or just neighbors or people, your elders around you. Now you kind of believe that, when you get to this point, I should be ready or I'm ready to get ready. And if you don't have that mindset, you're some type of failure. You're not doing it right because depending on who your parents were, what the parents and what the household structure was like when you were growing up, the narrative was painted out that you need to be positioned or get positioned. And if you're not doing these things, you're not going to be somebody. You're going to be a nobody. You're going to be that person in the family that we can look down on, that type of thing. If that's the narrative that you come from with that background of your family. Not everybody has that, which is great. If you have a great family, that's great, but not everybody gets to have that. Um, and it's man, it's just difficult. Guys, I'm at a different point in my life now to where the degree that I was chasing after, I'm glad that that's not the career that I'm in. I've found something a lot better, more suited for me and my personality type, and I'm going to pursue that now. I have the tools and the know-how to get to that point to where I can pursue that career, and I'll be a lot more well off mentally and financially as well. And I'm glad that I finally made it to that point. But in college, I wasn't thinking about that. I'll tell you guys, in college, I wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to have my own practice. Primarily, what I wanted to do was family oriented things. Um, so just family counseling settings, stuff like that, or maybe talking to some of the teenagers to help them get through whatever. One of my own practice, but that takes more time than what I thought. At my university, I wasn't informed. They kind of talked about it, but they didn't talk about how important it was. Like if you're just going to get a bachelor's degree, you're not gonna have a lot of opportunity out there. They don't extend it that far once you just have the bachelor's, especially for something like psychology. Maybe you can be a school counselor at a high school or something like that to tell people where to go, what college to go to. You can do something like that, but that's not the career I wanted. I wanted to help people mentally. But what I realized is I was just more so interested in how the mind works and how people think. So not on a scientific level, but on the art level, because it's a bachelor in fine arts. And that's what I liked. How people thought, how they process things, what makes people tick. I like that type of stuff. And that's fine, but that's not the career that I want to chase. You got people that's out here that's like literally batshit crazy. And you have to think if you're gonna chase that type of career, you might end up in a room with one of those guys. And I had a job back at the hospital. I did something called patient transport, and this is what it sounds like. You take the person from point A to point B, whether it be on a wheelchair or a gurney or a hospital bed, whatever. You just do your thing. They assigned me to a woman on a wheelchair, and they told me it was the psychiatric ward. And I was like, okay, am I gonna get an escort? They was like, no, you are the escort. Like, this is your thing. I said, okay. So I go over there with the wheelchair and I show up. The nurses, male and female nurses, are in there, and they was like, all right, so you're here to pick up this lady. I said, yeah. They said, okay, so we just got to give you a fair warning. It's protocol. We got to tell you about this, but she has a trigger word. You say this trigger word, things can go south. If you don't say the trigger word, everything will be fine. She's pretty well behaved, but she does have a trigger word, so we just wanted to let you know. They weren't gonna tell me the trigger word, guys. I had to ask for the fucking trigger word. What's the trigger word, bro? Like, what's it? What's up? What is it? They said, oh, it's her name. So I'm not gonna tell you her name because that's the trigger word. I said, okay, well that makes sense. Since I don't know her name, I have no chance of saying it. That's great. But I was like, so just in case she does get a little bit rowdy, it's not my job to police that. Do I not get an escort? When I asked that question, nobody wanted to join in. Nobody. It was a man that showed up and said, you know what, I'll go with him. He's right. He can't just go out there by himself. I was scared to death. They told me, like, the first thing they told me when I walked in the door was like, hey, she can get a little bit rowdy, so you want to be careful. That was just me doing patient transport. Now I was safe, everything happened, according to plan. It was all good. But think about that as a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You're dealing with people that are like that on a daily basis. And that's just if your career takes you that way. And I'm speaking all hypothetically. I'm just saying, like, I'm just glad that's not the career that I went down because I realized that's not what I want to do. That's not who I want to be. I was just more interested in the topic. It piqued my interest. There was a point in college where I was doing something called interdisciplinary studies. And that just means I can major in four things at once. That's all it was. So with psychology, dance, philosophy, and I forgot what the fourth thing was, but creative writing. Yeah. And that was crazy that they really allowed me to do that because I was so like this up here. I was in college, all this stuff going on, all these different things you could learn about. It's a great thing. College is a great thing, but it's something that you need to be ready for, and you don't all the way get prepped properly every time. It's a lot of variables. If you went to a private school or a charter school that caters to you in that type of way, a college prep university, not everybody gets that opportunity. I'm a first generation college student who's from the projects, and no one in my family, maybe a couple of extended family members that I don't know about, went to college. So I'm figuring this stuff out by myself. I'm teaching my parents how to do the FAFSA so I can get in, those type of things. So I didn't have that structure and that know-how and that ready, what I'm saying, to tackle college like a lot of us have. I'm looking at the statistics, and 47% of college grads don't use their degree. You know, it's just a lot that goes into it, guys. What I want to say here is, don't, for anybody that's on the fence of going to college, if I'm catching some younger audience members that's 18, 17, or 19, and they kind of thinking about it, they're on the fence. Don't treat college as a necessity. And I'm not saying that as in college is a bad thing. Yes, we have debt that is ridiculous. These guys are sending me emails and trying to call my phone and telling me I need to pay them $300 a month, where I stay in a $1,500, $1,600 one bedroom apartment. My car note is $500 as well. I pay that every month. I'm working two jobs. I'm losing my mind. I'm living in this expensive place, trying to chase my dreams and become my own man, doing all this stuff. And you guys, we're in the middle of a war. You got all this stuff going on, and we need you to pay us, and we are sending millions and billions of dollars to other countries. That's a whole nother topic that we could talk about another day. Yes, guys, that does exist. We do have this stuff going on. Not everybody can be a college athlete and play football and get the scholarship. We have to take out loans and do that shit. That exists. But I'm not saying to not go to college for those reasons. What I am saying is, don't go to college if you feel like you truly aren't ready, if you feel like you truly haven't gotten yourself figured out yet, if you don't know what you want to go do, don't be like, I need to go to college and I can figure it out there. Okay, sure. If you want to go do that and be in the same position that a lot of people are in right now, do that. Don't say that, oh, Derek on the angle told me not to go to college. I don't want to be the one that disappoints your parents. I'm just trying to give you some perspective. It's difficult. I I'm 26 and I'm just now figuring out exactly what career I wanted to do. I finished college at the age of 22, 23 is when I graduated. I went when I was 18, 17, 18. Come on, man. Like, I wish I knew. And it's fine, that my life hasn't stopped yet. I got so much more potential, so much more growth. But had I been more ready and prepped, this could have been a whole different type of conversation. I could live a whole different life right now. I could be in a whole nother space. And I'm not disappointed by anything. Life is a journey. It's a marathon, not a race, right? This concept that I'm talking about, guys, it came from a photographer that I met way back in the day. I think I was 22 at the time. I just finished college. I do modeling as well. I do dance and acting modeling. Hey, how you doing? And so I was modeling for this guy. And he had me in his car to drive us around the area to find hot spots to take some good pictures. And so while we were doing that, he wanted to get to know me a little better to make it not awkward because I got reference from him by somebody else. He was a real nice guy though. I had no problems with him. The photos came out great. I might post one here. You might see it. But yeah. So he was trying to get to know me. And he said, "Hey man, so what do you do? Like, what are you all about?" I said, "Oh, I just finished college, and so now that I'm out, I'm, doing my thing, trying to change my city, do some stuff with dance, and so I like to model, so that's why I'm here with you." And so we talked about that. He said, "Oh, fresh out of college, man, that's crazy. I got this theory that I've been thinking about for a long time." I'm like, "What you talking about?" He's like, "Man, do you ever think that maybe we shouldn't be going to college like right after high school?" I was like, "Nah, what you mean? I ain't think about it that way. Think about it, man. You don't know what you really want yet. You're a kid. You're fresh out of high school. You kind of just getting the lay of the land, and they ship you right off to college where you can go make all these mistakes and rack up all this debt. Like, is that not crazy to you?" And at the time, I'm like, "Damn, I just finished doing all that." So he's fucking right. I did not. it didn't come across my mind until that point how right he was about it. Like I never had this conversation. I never heard this be brought up, and it blew my mind. So now I'm glad that I'm finally in a space where I can talk about it and voice my opinion on it on the podcast. And that's where this is coming from. That's where this topic is stemming from. Is from that conversation. His name was Lucas Dean, I believe, or maybe that's just his Instagram. But I'll mention him so he can get that credit. But yeah, it was a very fascinating topic that me and him talked about that day. It was a great conversation. He really opened my eyes up that day at that photo shoot, and I wasn't discouraged or anything. Just like I am now, it was said and done. I graduated and stuff. And family came and showed up, all that. So it was over and done. But man, I'm hoping that I can reach some other people and maybe change some perspectives just in case. If now, here's the thing though, you can still go to college and do your thing and become this successful person because according to Google, 70% of people that graduate college are successful. I don't think that number is all the way true. I think they may be talking about it depends on the year and the timeline. So we got parents and grandparents that might have went to college and they are successful because the way that America was functioning at that time, going to college was a thing to do. Now we're living in a time where all of America's debt is on top of us millennials and Gen Z people. We're having to deal with all this stuff. So college degrees are the equivalent of a high school diploma, so you can go to McDonald's, you can do that. A college bachelor degree, I might add. So, if you're not going to go the extra mile to get that master's or that doctorate, you're not doing these things and you practically aren't doing anything. You're wasting your time. It's a hard pill to swallow, but, it's where we are. Um, and a lot of us are coming to that point. I'm seeing videos on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all the time with Gen Z millennial people making funny videos, but the message is deep about, I did the right thing. I got the good grades in high school. I made my parents happy. I went to college, and here I am with this rinky dink job, living in this rinky dink apartment, thinking that going to college and doing all the right stuff was going to put me in a path to where I can have a house and a family at the age of 25, 26. And I haven't even started yet, and I'm 25, 26. That's what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous that a lot of us are here right now. I don't know who the blame is. I don't know if it's the government or our parents. It's somebody. Somebody. It can't just be us. I mean, we did what we were told. And, I wish things could be different, but I'm in a different headspace now. I'm in a different spot in my life where things are going to pick up and change. It's not going to be overnight, but I'm seeing brighter days. So that's great, and it's all about me giving out this message on this topic. What a more statistic I have. I did a little bit of research on this. Just so you guys know, my podcast is very raw. I don't have a script. I try to give some statistics so that way, if I got haters or something that want to come in the comments and they feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, I can shoot some numbers out. Whatever. I don't really care. But let's see what I have. Let me think about it. It's late tonight. I got real busy. Yeah. So here's the deal. What you major in college also matters. I know somebody might want to bring it up, or I haven't got to that point yet. So if you're going to major in psychology, philosophy, fine arts, drama, theater, music, these types of things, that's where statistically you aren't going to get those. You aren't, no. Okay, go ahead, get out of here. That's what Google says, right? And that's the experience that I had. I did dance major as well as psychology, creative writing minor, philosophy as well. I did all those things, and here I am. Okay, so it's not a lie, right? And that's fine. But I wish we all knew that ahead of time. We're thinking we can go do these things and go to college and get the degree and chase our dreams at the same time, and it's not a reality. We aren't able to do those things. The great thing is you don't have to go to college for some of those things. Music, of course, you don't have to go. Acting, drama, of course, you don't have to go. There's plenty of child actors that make it up and do their thing, so you don't need college for those things. Um, so that's another hard pill to swallow. If you want to go to college and you want to be successful, you need to go into something that is lucrative, that's going to get you what you need, that's going to be beneficial at the end, you're going to land a real job. So obviously that's the doctor, lawyer, right? But here's some other things. Engineering, teachers are guaranteed a job once they finish, but that's another topic for another day. Teachers are not paid enough. That's another thing that we're all seeing on social media that's floating around, and I've 105% agree that teachers are not getting paid enough. back in my younger days when I was in school, I wasn't like some nerdy kid or whatever. Maybe I don't or whatever. But when I saw these kids acting up and getting rowdy and getting tough with the teacher sometimes, or just not giving a fuck, it used to rub me the wrong way. Like, come on, man. Like, we can make this person's day a little easier if all we did was just sit down, be quiet, and maybe you don't want to do the work today. Don't do it, but don't fucking go crazy. People would do the craziest stuff. Teachers aren't paid enough. With some other things. So engineering, teaching, nursing. I got a couple of friends that have done nursing, and their lives are changing for them, and I'm happy for those guys. Um, what else we got? Financial advisor, things like that, other than the doctor or a lawyer. It's some other lucrative things that you can go do in college. Me personally, guys, I know 3 guys who went to college and are successful with their college degrees. Out of all the folks I went to college with, out of all the people I know 3 guys that I can point out. One was a computer engineer. The other was a different type of engineer. So 2 engineers right there. The third guy was a nurse. This on that same list of statistics I told you where you're going to be the most successful. These guys are, doing great things with their lives, and they're able to use their actual college degrees and get careers. But the rest of us, no. If someone who's a friend of mine or an associate of mine that's watching the podcast, if you went to college with me, or in the same time that I went to college, we went to different colleges, and you are doing things with your degree that I don't know about. You feel free to comment. You ain't got to be like all personal, like, hey, yeah, you're wrong about that. Like, check me, put me in check. Fuck it. That's what it's all about. Let's get active. Let's have a conversation. That's what this podcast is about. But to my knowledge, I just know 3 guys that I can point, I can count on my hand that are doing things with their college degree. It's difficult. You and I looked at some more statistics what Google says about the percentage of people that's successful without a college degree. 6%. I don't think that that's true. 6% of people without a college degree are successful. That sounds like BS. I'm sorry. I tried to do some further research, but I didn't. Maybe I might have messed up on like what I was searching, but I was searching for a couple of hours, and these were some of the numbers I came up with. But the podcast is more so about me, giving personal perspective, and so personally, I feel like that sounds like BS. It sounds like BS to you. I agree. If not, comment. Let me know something. The smartest guy I know did not go to college. He's a comedian, very successful. He's doing great things. His name is blowing up. He's changing the scene in our hometown. He's doing great things. Very smart individual. He's a little bit younger than me too, and he's smarter. Got some great life advice. I learned a lot from this guy, and he has no college debt. And you know, this great dude didn't go to college. You know, um, and like I keep saying, I keep reiterating, continue to reiterate that I'm not telling anyone who's on the fence or who's currently in college to not go to college. Just you have to be careful. You got to be careful, make the right decisions, and it's hard to do at a young age. You might see this podcast and you're thinking like, damn, I really don't know what I want to do. Maybe I am doing this thing right now. I'm doing communications today, but what would I want to do when I'm 25, 26, 27? Like, is it going to be the same? Like, we don't truly know, because I thought that psychology is what I wanted to do, and it's not what I wanted to do. I really thought that for a long time. I still dance, and that's great, but that's not something that you want to go to college for. My One of my dance teachers, I do popping, and he has a dance degree, doesn't use it. It's not something that he's able to just go and get. Oh, let me get this job. Like, no, it's no. He does something totally different. He dances on his free time. Um, yeah, man, it's pretty wild uh, that we have had to endure and to sit with the fact that we kind of went, and I don't want to say wasted our time, because some people might feel differently, but that's kind of the feeling that we have. Me and my girlfriend both, we have the same degree, psychology. I was a creative writing minor, so psychology major, creative writing minor, but neither one of us are able to use our degree to further the career that we want, in the lifestyle that we currently have. We um we have to come out here and be adults and find new ways and new things, and teach ourselves different ways of success. Speaking of success, Google has a funny way of like depicting what success is. So when you type in like who are the successful people outside of who went to college, or how many successful people graduate college, or who was successful that didn't go to college, the term success is a very broad term according to Google. So it's hard to find that answer. But a lot of people will tell you, man, that they get successful without going. These are the tycoons. Google will tell you that Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg are the, that one in a million, whatever. That's not true. There's plenty of people that have thrown their own companies together, that CEOs and presidents and stuff that have their own everything, and they probably didn't go to college. They just understood financial literacy, or made the right moves, or had the right team. A lot of that stuff plays into it. So, success is a very weird way to measure things. Because on the other hand, my friend was telling me when I brought this topic up to him that college graduates that are doctors and lawyers, people on the outside might deem them to be successful, but in reality they got so much college debt that once they finally make it into the career that they want to be in, they have to use all that money they're making to pay that stuff off for a number of years before they start to see the real money come in. So is that truly successful? you know I think at that point it depends on that person and what they feel like, if paying that debt off is worth it or not. But you know college is it's a slippery slope, guys. I mean, and still, I've had some great times in college, some memories that I wouldn't trade for anything. My current closest friends are from college. These are men that I plan to go into business ventures with in the near future. Once me, myself, and some of those other guys get our financial things in order, we plan to do things in business, and I'm happy about it. And I wouldn't have met those guys without having going to college. So you do have those things that college is more on a positive side of the experiences that you get. College is an experience that you're going to get that you will never get at home. I can say that, me speaking more positively to the topic. And that's all great. So do you want to take some time to yourself after high school, learn yourself, get to the workforce, understand who you are inside and out, get out there and live a little bit, then go to college? Or do you want to go to college, get that experience that you will never get anywhere else at any other time, and, have all this fun, but now you're also this confused young adult who doesn't know? It's pros and cons to both sides. I plan to allow my children to make that choice, and I want to present information to them that's going to point them in the right direction. You can go to college right away. Sure thing, son. Yeah, daughter, whatever you want to go do. But I'm also going to present the other side. You don't have to go. I want to be able to show my kids, hey, you can make money doing this without going. You can finish high school, do that, do the standard that, so no one can just call you stupid or whatever. You didn't finish anything. Go ahead and finish high school, get that done. Once you finish that, you're of age now to where you can learn business, financial literacy, financial etiquette. I want to be able to teach my kids those things. And if you want to go to college, still do that, and we'll figure out how to get you in. Make sure your money is right, all that stuff that I never had. I want to be able to do, but I don't want my kids to feel like college is a necessity, and if they don't go, they aren't gonna be this big thing in the family. We're gonna look down on them. I don't want them to feel that way. You know, I mean, it's hard for all of us. I'm still on the fence on would I like to have that time back and start over. And it's like yes and no. Some of the experiences I wouldn't change, but man, I could have a different ball game going on right now, and that's great. But you guys just take what I say with a grain of salt on this topic. You know what I'm saying? I know it's pretty controversial. Well, it's not the most controversial we'll get on the show. It's pretty lighthearted controversy. But it is a controversial topic. But just keep in mind, like, I'm just speaking from a perspective, coming very personal about it, some personal experiences, a couple stats and stuff like that that I've personally experienced that are true and might be true for you as well. And so hopefully you guys are able to connect with this on that type of level. And if you feel like I'm wrong, if you feel like what I'm saying is a bunch of BS, I'm just some lazy kid who didn't make the right decisions and it's all my fault or whatever, or maybe some of my stats are off, or you have different stats that show different things that contrast what I'm trying to say, comment, man. I don't care, bro, about the comments. Don't be rude about it and call me some ugly dude or whatever, but stay on topic. Let me know what you think. email me, tell me what's up. Like, just let's have a conversation about this. I'm very passionate about this topic. More can be said, more can be done. But yeah, guys, college is don't think of it as a necessity. If you want to live a little bit, live a little bit. If you want to have some different experiences before you go, I mean, just think about having the opportunity to grow and then go to college. And now you're 24, 25, and you're in there like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do. I want to be a police officer, or I want to be someone who can run this. I want to come and learn business so that way I can run my business in this type of way, which is some of these things you don't need college for, but college can prep you in ways that life isn't able to do. So now you had this experience and you tried to become these things and it didn't work out. Now college is helping you do those things, do that. That's what it can be used for. But that's not the narrative that's pushed early on. The narrative that's pushed is finish high school, know what you want to do. If you don't know yet, that's fine. You'll find out when you get there. And now you're there, you lost. And I've said it all already. Now I'm just repeating myself. Guys, this is The Angle. My name is Derek. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, email me, comment. I'm going to catch you on the next one.